The views and opinions expressed by the following program are those of the host, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of this station or Webster Rock Hill Ministries, its management, or other hosts or underwriting sponsors. Programs presented by KWRH-LP are for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Greetings, listeners in listener land. This is Arnold Stricker of In Tune with the incomparable effervescent.
I'm still railing from you blowing kisses to Facebook.
I'm blowing kisses to Facebook. That's Mark Langston you hear, the effervescent.
The effervescent.
It's kind of like Alka-Seltzer. You know? he sparkles and bubbles all at the same time.
And foams at the mouth.
Cures your indigestion.
By listening to Mark on this show. That's right. In Tune's a 2-hour weekly broadcast which focuses and reflects on issues that impact and connects our community and the greater St. Louis area. Our topics include the arts, crime, education, employment, faith, finance, food, history, housing, humor, and justice. Betsy Rezensek, who's the executive director of Home Sweet Home. Betsy, welcome to In Tune.
Thank you.
Betsy, what is Home Sweet Home?
Sure. So Home Sweet Home is a nonprofit furniture bank. So we take gently used furniture and household items. We put it into a big warehouse, and then we intentionally partner with 21 different organizations whose clients need that furniture and household items.
So take that apart a little bit for us, because a lot of people know about like Salvation Army or Goodwill or veterans, disabled veterans, and many other quote-unquote charities out there who accept donations. And how are you different again?
Yeah, so everybody does really good work, and it's all very different work, right? So the way that we are different is that the clients are getting the dignity to come and pick out the items themselves, and then we are delivering it to them. And we have intentionally partnered with those organizations that we work with because they have an ongoing case manager relationship with their families. So it's not a pass-through. It's not like we're a food pantry where you show up and, you know, everybody needs food, right? But for us, they need to have an ongoing relationship with that case manager. So we are just a very small piece of all of the services, wraparound services that they're receiving. So they could come to us from organizations like the Women's Safe House, St. Patrick's Center, St. Louis Crisis Nursery, and they're already working on other things, right? Whether it's just they're living in general poverty, they need parenting skills, they are living on the streets and are military veterans. But when they get into housing, the piece that often is very difficult to provide, and agencies have tried, is the furniture and the household items, the things that really can make them succeed once they have housing.
So the mission of Home Sweet Home is to give families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. And we're going to get into what some of those things are. I really appreciate what you said, that you're a wraparound kind of organization with other organizations, and you link. You're just not kind of out there by yourself doing your own thing independent of other groups,
right?
Which I think many nonprofits, not going to say this in a bad way, do that a lot, and they're all doing good work. But it's nice when there's interagency kinds of functions, and that you're a community. I love this name, a community furniture bank.
Yeah,
just kind of like you mentioned, a food bank, but in a little different application. So how'd you get involved with this? What is your background in community service and working with
my background is in development, fundraising at agencies. And so I had actually been working at two different women's residential facilities. The first one worked with women coming out of incarceration. It's now one of our partner agencies. It's called Center for Women in Transition. And at the time, we would have women that were in our program for 2 years. They would move into their own housing. And I remember a case manager one time trying to find a bed, and I was trying to find a couch for the client. And then we were like, well, how the heck do we get it anywhere? Like, we just have cars. They have a bus pass, right? So then we had to find a board member with a pickup truck. That was not part of our job. That the case manager had other things they needed to help them do, like stay sober and find a job and, open a bank account and all the very important things. But yet they still needed a couch and a bed, right? So, but it never crossed my mind to do something like this. The next organization I worked at was a homeless shelter, also working with women and coming living in homelessness and working through addiction and mental illness. And they had actually set up something like this when they started doing permanent supportive housing. So they actually had a very simple, genius idea when they started putting 30 women into housing in St. Louis City. They realized if we're going to put them into housing, we need to provide them the stuff to be successful. Right? So they actually got together 5 of their closest church partners and said, help us solve this problem. What do we do? Right? And so they didn't pretend like they had all the answers or needed to make it up themselves. So one church said, well, we have an empty educational wing we can put furniture in. Another church said, well, we'll get a truck. And another church said, we'll volunteer. And so they opened up actually what they called at the time Furnishing Hope. And it was a furniture bank. We have modeled exactly off that. I had nothing to do with that planning. That was all them. And so at some point I started working there, and I said, somebody needs to do this furniture thing, but for everybody. And the idea just we kept talking to people about it. Do you think enough people would donate? Do you think people would donate money? Is this something your agency could use? Long story but I also had a job that I love, with like healthcare and like a salary, and I've never started anything. I've never run anything. So I certainly wasn't going to go that direction, but then the homeless shelter closed. And so we all kind of found ourselves out of a job, and immediately all the text messages were like, Betsy, you need to do that furniture thing. I know nothing about furniture. And like, I don't know how to put it together, move it. I'm colorblind, so I can't match it. But that's what we did. So we wrote a business plan. We put together a board of directors, and we started doing that April of 2015, and by October we opened our doors of 2015.
Wow. And there are other groups like this around the country, correct?
There are. So there's more than 60 furniture banks in North America. Wow. Different sizes, they are modeled a little bit differently. And there's a few small groups that do furniture here in St. Louis as well. And so part of our business plan was to have a conversation about partnering and how are we different. And so, everybody kind of did their own thing because they had little niches that they like to work in. But yeah, there are other models. There's one in Toronto, there's one in Atlanta and Houston that, move hundreds of families a month compared to ours, which is kind of teeny tiny comparatively. But we were able to learn a lot from them. So part of that business plan was talking and saying what worked, what didn't.
Right.
And we learned a lot, and then we kind of took the model that we thought would work best here in St. Louis.
Now, you're located in Brentwood Industrial Park, and that's where your current warehouse is.
That's where our warehouse is, yes.
And it's very, very large.
Yeah.
And you have things kind of placed by the type of item that's going on. So if somebody has some things to, quote unquote, donate, not everything is there such a word, donatable?
Like mattresses. That comes to mind with me.
Right.
Yeah. So
you're kind of particular.
We are particular.
Which makes
and our
sense.
main reason that we're particular is that the clients to deserve something they can be proud of. Right. So the idea that, they're homeless, something's better than nothing is not true. If that were true, they would be already sleeping on something that's particularly not appropriate, right? And so oftentimes I'm still shocked, even though I do this all the time, when I go into somebody's home to deliver their furniture and there's nothing. And I do this job every day, so I know that's why we exist. But you go in and it's so empty, and then you open the cupboards and it's completely bare inside the cupboards. And so we want to not just give them a couch, but we want to give them a couch that they really can be proud of. Just because somebody doesn't have as much money as you or I, the next person, doesn't mean that they don't deserve something spectacular. And so that's our main priority, is that everything has to still be in good condition. So no rips, tears, stains, holes. I don't care how small it is. If it's got a rip from your dog, and I know it wasn't a big deal for you because it was your pup that made the hole, but somebody else isn't going to like that hole in the couch, right? So that's the first priority. The second is that it has to fit. And so any items that are too big, china, hutches, king size mattresses, anything obscenely large just won't work for our families. I always kind of describe it, if it's not going to go up the third floor of a South City apartment, it's probably not the right fit for our families. And we're a small organization. We don't have the means to dispose of stuff. But those are really the requirements. So, and there's more information on the website about the exact items that we take and don't take and why. Mattresses we do take, we do accept. We are very, very picky, not only because people deserve pride and dignity, but just because there's some other issues that can go around donated stuff. But we also have a lot of new things that are donated. And so that's where mattresses also come in. We have several furniture stores like Slumberland Furniture, Weekends Only, and Dow Furniture all donate brand new mattresses. And some of our partner agencies actually have the funds to purchase their own mattresses for their clients and have them delivered to us. So then we just distribute them along with their other furniture.
You're listening to In Tune with Arnold Stricker and Mark Langston. We're having a conversation with Betsy Rezensek, who is the Executive Director of Home Sweet Home. And Betsy, I've got a list here of some of those accepted items to donate. And it really makes sense that when you were talking about that, I was thinking, okay, let's say my wife and I have to go buy a mattress. We're not going to go to a Goodwill store or someplace that has mattresses and pick out a mattress or pick out a couch. Somebody might say, well, you can pick out a couch, but then we would get it recovered or something like that. But clients you are dealing with, they don't have that luxury to do that. And so it makes sense to have something of nice quality, almost brand new, that looks nice, because who wants, it's like, gee, I'm going to go out and buy a car. So I go down to some car lot that I end up driving off the lot, and it's a lemon, and then I have to put, several $1,000s into it. That's, I think, the MO that many, many people experience who are really struggling and who are some of the clients that you deal with.
Yeah. So a lot of our families suffer with mental illness or have decades and years of poverty and kind of generational poverty that go along with that. A lot of them are coming out of domestic violence situations. And so the most love and care and dignity that we can give them so that they can have a fresh start is so important. But items don't have to necessarily be new either, right? What we find is a lot of times military veterans, for instance, that are coming through St. Patrick's Center, they like that couch that comes in that I'm like, oh, that couch is kind of something. And somebody else will come in and go, oh my gosh, I love it. My grandmother had one just like it, right? But it still has to, be in a good condition. And I always describe it to imagine like when you're you're taking your kid out of college for the first time or to college, and you're setting up their apartment for the first time. Like we're looking at like the most basic of items, and it's not just the big items like a couch and a coffee table, but pots and pans. It's hard to cook food from the food pantry if you don't have a pot or pan. Can openers are also huge. You can't open those cans from the food pantry. Whisks, mixing bowls, linens, pillows. Pillows are the one things we really encourage new because your face has been on it. And pillows are a great item for people to do drives. So if you have a school or a faith group that likes to get together and do an activity like doing a pillow drive, having a competition. Nice. Right now the Brentwood Police Department, Fire Department are doing like a competition pillow drive. So it's the small items too that can really like make your house home. So imagine like you're moving that kid into their first place. Right. They kind of need all that stuff. That's what our clients are getting when they come into the warehouse. That's
a good way to describe that. So here's some items, folks, from the kitchen. The big items: kitchen tables and chairs, but pots and pans, coffee pots, blenders, plates, dishes, glasses, utensils, toasters, dish towels, kitchen towels, oven mitts, cooking utensils, bakeware, microwaves, slow cookers, can openers, pizza cutters, ice cube trays, bathroom items, shower curtains and rings. Nothing like getting in there and, gee, there's no shower curtain. Washcloths, bath towels, hand towels, living room, couch, chairs, coffee tables, lamps, area rugs, TVs, TV stands, vacuums, small trash cans, lamps, nightstands, bedding, dressers, new pillows, like you mentioned, box springs, queen, full, and twin mattresses, same way, and bed rails that are metal and collapsible.
Yes.
And there's all these items of the no thank you. But if you have those, what they've done is they've given you a place where you can, there's a listing on the website which you can donate those to. And I thought that was very, very nice too. So their website, folks, is homesweethomestl.org, homesweethomestl.org. And you've served, since your opening, your website says 1,200 families.
Yeah, we probably need to update that. It's closer to 1,600 now.
Wow, holy smokes.
So we've been
Somebody
doing
needs to
this
get
for
that
4
website
years.
updated.
I know. So somebody should work on that. So we've been doing this for 4 years, and the first year we operated, it was all volunteer. So it would be me and another woman, usually in my old pickup truck, like an F-150,
Bless your heart.
picking up this furniture and then using groups of people to help deliver it. But now we have a full team of people. We could have up to 30 volunteers in the warehouse every day that make sure that the furniture gets picked up. So we do pick up donations in St. Louis City and County and then deliver it in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say, so people are listening and they're going, okay, gee, I don't have a pickup truck, or, I've got this mattress I bought to have the grandkids stay, but they're not staying here. And so what do I do with this? I would like to donate it. And you're a tax 501(c)(3).
Yep, everything is tax deductible, and you can find information about donating online, but you can also fill out a form to have somebody schedule a pickup for you. So we do pick up in St. Louis City and County. We don't do, a lot of agencies won't do stairs just for safety of their movers, but we do pick up, and then you can always drop off items Monday through Friday from 9 to 2. So all day long. Once we moved to the Brentwood area, I mean, really, the amount of donations that have come in have just...
They're really centrally located there.
Yeah. So people come by all day long to drop off things that they went to Target, they saw towels were on sale, so they picked up extra towels. But you also have moving trucks just like pull up because somebody was moving and maybe we couldn't get to their pickup fast enough. And they're like, well, it's no problem. I'll just bring it down. So people are pulling in trucks all day too, dropping off stuff.
So is there a cost for people to have items picked up?
It's free if it's outside or in a garage, something that we can do relatively quickly. If it's inside a home for liability purposes, it's $35. But we do that every single day. We do book out quite a bit in advance. So I think right now we're booking out mid-July or January, this is supposed to be our slow
That's
time.
crazy.
Yeah. So usually it's really, really slow, and we're booked out almost 4 weeks at this point.
It's just great.
Wow.
Yeah. So that really shows like the community's response and how they've really embraced us and stepped into it. And a lot of people will say like, I like donating to Home Sweet Home because they don't resell it, that we know that our kitchen table is going to get like a new family and a new life and new stories, because we were able to share it with somebody else.
So somebody's thinking, well, I've got that couch. It's got a rip in it. Oh, there's one with a tear, hole, stains, odors, and major pet hair. Quirky, no, we're not going to take those, right? that takes Mark back.
It does. Okay, sorry.
As Quirky the
There's a
Clown.
story there.
How about, when I was putting my place together, I'm just making this up now, but we got mismatched dishes and utensils. Will you take those?
So, yes and no. So mismatched, I would just say you can always bring it down, and we have a team of volunteers that sort through everything and make sure that it's appropriate. So just a little bit of background. We will put dishes into sets. So dishes are best in sets. But if we do get dishes that are mismatched, there are some other agencies that we can get them to. Utensils, it doesn't matter, Don't tell my mom that. She will argue with me. She hates that my utensils are mismatched. And every Christmas I get new sets, and I just throw them all and mix them up.
Well, you can tell her it's a new set.
Yes, exactly. It's
the way it came.
eclectic, right? Anyway, we digressed. So the volunteers can take through and kind of sort through stuff. But they'll go through every sheet to make sure that it doesn't have any rips, tear stains, or holes. They'll test every electrical appliance just to make sure that, again, we want to give them dignity. And if they get home and they already struggle with so much, right? Like maybe they had to take the bus 2 hours just to get to us, and they got to go pick up their kids, and their lives are just so complicated, and then they're excited about this furniture. They get the lamp home and it doesn't work. Like, that's just like one more thing in their life that's like striking against them, right? So we want to try to make sure that it's as seamless as possible.
I think there is one of the most frustrating things for people who are in that situation is, just like you said, they've been doing all that. They walk into where they're staying, and their mattresses for their kids are on the floor, or their mattresses on the floor. Yep. There's maybe no chairs, no table. They don't have it might be like a box to sit on for a couch or something. And it really is humiliating and degrading not to be able to go into a place and have something that is supposed to be your place of refuge, where your home, where you can actually sit down on a couch or sit at a table and chair and eat with utensils and wash your dishes and do whatever, and then go to bed on a mattress that's clean, that doesn't stink, or it's not been outside near the dumpster, and that's not on the floor, that's off the floor.
Right.
You know, so folks, this is a time of year where giving is discussed a lot, and giving of toys and giving of gifts and giving monetary things. And we're going to get into some things after the break with you, Betsy, related to monetary donations and also what volunteers can do. But folks, this is a really good time of the year, not only for those of you who want to do this for a tax purpose, but for those of you who want to do something. Rather than give another gift to somebody who doesn't need something, give a gift to a group like Home Sweet Home, or give something out of your, and as I've downsized and trying to become a minimalist in my lifestyle, is give something that is of value or that is very nice in your home that you really don't utilize, and call them up and find out if they will accept that, or take it over there. If you've got a truck or a large vehicle, that you can get it over there. Maybe you've got way too many dishes that you've accumulated and you've got stacks and stacks and there's only 2 of you or 1 of you, and it's like, when am I ever going to use this? They would absolutely love to see what's going on there. Am I lying or dying?
Absolutely. And when you come by, always say, show me around. We love to get tours, right? That's how we met you.
Right. Yeah. It's wonderful walking in and out of everything that's got, the dishes are all set up in one area, the lamps, the chairs, the mattresses. It's very well organized, because a lot of places it's just like haphazard.
Right.
It's just like thrown in there. I want to say this like the old Hoods stores used to be.
Whoa.
Now, the new Hoods stores are not like that. So just for those folks who are listening out at Hoods, your stores are much more organized than they were when I was growing up. Because it was a mess when I was growing up. Yeah. So it was nice to see this. So when we come back after the break, what I'd like to talk about is if somebody doesn't, maybe they're a minimalist now, and they want to give a monetary donation, or maybe they have time and they want to become a volunteer. What can they do? Other kind of things. You have wish lists that you have. You also have a Furnishing Hope Society, which I want to talk about a little bit about what that particular thing is, and how people can help people be maybe a personal shopper.
Yes.
Or maybe you know someone who might be in need, and some of these organizations, and we'll list those again. How can people get a referral to come to Home Sweet Home? Okay, so that's what we'll talk about after our break. Hope that you keep listening to us, folks. This is a very good conversation. We want to enlighten you about things that are happening in our community. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of In Tune. You're listening to KWRH 92.9 FM, your community radio station in Webster Groves, Missouri. Welcome back to In Tune. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston. We've been talking in the first half hour with Betsy Rezensek, who's the executive director of Home Sweet Home. And this half hour, what we're going to do is talk about how you can, folks out there in listener land, can make a monetary donation, or maybe you are a business or you're a business owner and you have some furniture that you would like to donate. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also discuss if you want to volunteer and help out some way. Also some events that are coming up. There's a big trivia night for all of those you trivia folks out there, April 4th, 2020. But first, what we'd like to do is play a little audio clip for you of a message from Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home is a furniture bank that provides furniture and household items to families in St. Louis City and St. Louis County.
We help people turn their brand new apartment or their house into a home.
Well, I would describe Home Sweet Home as somewhat of a sanctuary. It's a place where you can come and you can be, changed from being hopeless to having some hope.
Many of our clients have come from difficult situations and they have housing, but this allows them to have a comfortable bed to sleep on a night. It allows them to have a plate and silverware to eat off of. Many of our clients are just starting new jobs, and if you get a good night's sleep, it's really a lot easier to care for your kids well and do a good job at work and return to contributing to the community.
So when you walk into your house at night after working for a hard day, you have a couch to crash on, right? You have some place where you feel safe and comfortable. If you have children, you have a place for your kids to like run into their room and jump on the bed, and a place to congregate for, family dinners at nighttime. And to be able to give that piece back to our clients is very meaningful.
We hear so many incredible comments from our clients, but one of the things that I think makes them happiest is that sometimes for years these people haven't had choices, and to have the simple choice of saying, I like this set of sheets and I don't like this set of sheets, I think really can help restore some dignity that they may not have felt for a while.
People can get involved in three main ways. They can volunteer. We always need personal shoppers, people to help deliver furniture and help in our warehouse. People can also donate money. It takes a lot of resources to make this important mission happen. And we always need donations of furniture and household items. So everything has been donated, and it comes from individuals in the community who care. So we always need more items to make that possible.
When somebody decides to donate money to Home Sweet Home, it helps us in so many ways that not everybody gets to see. We have to put gas in the truck to be able to deliver to the families. We have overheads with our beautiful warehouse to be able to allow families to come in and shop and see what kind of furniture is actually going to their home. Those donations are extremely vital to Home Sweet Home, much in the same way that a furniture donation would be.
And sometimes people need just a little trickle of hope and give them the attitude, a positive attitude to go to greater heights. So I think the picture of is that when a person comes here and they get to make the choice and they see the results, they get the feeling and the dignity that, hey, I can do bigger and better things. It's a stepping stone for them to be successful in their life.
And if you ever get a chance to talk to the clients and see the gratitude in their faces, you can only feel like that warmth and love coming from them.
If I heard these words over and over, dignity, hope, respect, pride, one of the things that I greatly appreciate is that comment that I can go in, I don't have to buy that color sheet, or that's the only one that's there and I have to take it, but I can make a choice. I actually now have a choice that I can, I don't really like that one, but I like this one. Yeah. And it really restores a lot of self-worth along the way in that process. Have you seen that in people's faces and attitudes when they come shopping? Absolutely.
So I think we tend to not realize, and I probably don't even realize because I've never been on the receiving end of a charity, right? But when you have to go to somebody and ask for help, it cannot be easy. No. And there's some loss of dignity, pride. Right? Pride when you have to reach out and say, like, I need help, whether it's I need help finding a job, or I need help overcoming an addiction, or I need help with my kids, or not having to live on the street. And there are sometimes so many barriers, and agencies work really, really hard, but are still strapped with resources that they can't help everybody. So to even get resources sometimes can be tricky and burdensome. And their lives are just already so complicated with all the things that they have to do. And you probably see this here at Webster Rocco Ministries, right? And so anything that we can do to alleviate some of that. So it starts with as simple as the way we communicate with clients, right? The way that everyone walks in the door, they're greeted with a smile. Like, how can we help you today, right? Everyone is offered a cup of coffee. And I told one of the staff yesterday, it's not really about the coffee. I don't care if they drink. It's just about offering them something, the respect. And so just the simple chance to say, we talk logistics, like, will this couch fit up 3 flights of stairs in a South City apartment? But, like, what is your favorite color? Like, do you like to have company over or not? Maybe they don't want a big couch on purpose, right? Maybe they need something because they have a bunch of kids. They need a sectional sofa. Sure. And, they can say, like, I like that one that's 30 years old and looks like it was in my grandma's house. Yeah. Or they can say, I like that brand new leather one from the local furniture store. And so they get to take that and make it their own and then match things to it, right? So we spend about 40 minutes with each client, which gives them just around the right of time to kind of pick out a lamp that matches. So again, you're not just like, here's a lamp, here's a coffee table. They're kind of going through, they're finding couch pillows, they're finding a kitchen. They sit down at the table, at the kitchen table, to make sure, like, do I like this seat? Is it comfortable?
Nice.
Maybe they like the table, but the seat feels funny. And so just kind of, I always tell the volunteers, really the key is patience. They don't have to know how to match. They don't have to know anything about furniture. They just have to be able to, like, show somebody some general love and respect for that 40 minutes that they're there. And, like, one of the best things happened, I think it was yesterday. So I think the client was pretty quiet. I think he'd had a lot of, like, setbacks in life. And I did not hear this, but one of our staff said as soon as he left and he went around the corner, he was walking by her window and he yelled out, it's mine. I'm so happy. And she said he was so quiet inside, and he got outside and he was with his case manager.
Wow.
And he just, like, screamed with delight, right? And so they heard it through the window and had a chuckle because it was, it was like, even he didn't necessarily even want to show that to the staff or the volunteers, like this like excitedness, right? But then when you deliver it, you see all kinds of emotions, and we never anticipate or expect or say, like, you need to be grateful, like, can you show some gratitude? Because again, it's got to be difficult to ask for help. And so sometimes when you get there, people are real quiet. Sometimes they're standoffish. Sometimes they're angry. Sometimes they're going through a lot of stuff. Right. And so that expectation that they need to be grateful or happy that we're there, like, we love it. It makes the job fun. But sometimes people just need to be loved where they are without the expectations.
Amen to that. That was the word, expectation, because how many clients that you deal with have had their expectations, hopes dashed, or nobody shows up, or talk is cheap, and gee, it wasn't coordinated with their schedule, and you have to work around my schedule. It is, if you've not been down to the city where people struggle, folks, you need to get down there and observe some things, because life is much different in the city in certain areas, and even in the county. There are some areas, pockets in the county like that. And for many of us who have not had to experience that, it's until you see it and until you are around people that live it, you don't really understand what they're going through. Yeah.
And even those of us that see it, unless we've experienced it, we still probably don't get it.
No.
You know?
Not to the degree that they do.
Right.
No.
If I don't have anything to donate, somebody says, but can I donate money? And what do I do?
So every nonprofit in the world will gladly take financial contributions. So I was saying earlier, how do we afford this big 13,000 square foot warehouse in Brentwood? We have a pretty typical nonprofit budget, right? And the biggest amount of that comes from people who donate online or send a check in. A lot of our volunteers are some of our biggest donors because they have the direct contact with the client. They see the need, they see the impact that it's making. So we, of course, take year-end contributions and beginning of the year contributions, but also we have companies that will sponsor us, companies that sponsor trucks, companies that sponsor furniture drives, and so that's always a big thing.
That's how I got you guys, Tadlock Brueggemann.
Yep.
Real estate.
So Tadlock Brueggemann actually
give a shameless plug to them.
Sponsoring Home Sweet Home for 2020, and so they're making a financial contribution, but we're gonna partner together, and they're gonna come down and volunteer in January. They've got, if you see our new truck, their logo is all over it. and we'll be doing some other activities with them throughout the year. They'll be on the website and stuff like that. So that's always an opportunity. There are special events throughout the year, as well as, the fees for when we pick up furniture.
Right.
So it's a pretty typical nonprofit budget. There's grants. As we've started to grow as an organization, when we first started, we had like some teeny tiny grants that were like 1 or 2, but now that we're getting bigger, that's a bigger part of our budget as well.
Yeah, I want to thank Lance Merrick from Tadlock Brueggemann for turning me on to you guys. So let's talk a little bit about businesses. We're remodeling. A business maybe is doing that. And I'm being the business right now.
Yeah.
And we have all this wonderful furniture that's in pretty decent shape. Will you guys take that?
Yeah, so that's the exciting thing is people don't realize how much business furniture can be household furniture, right? So a lot of businesses will have couches in their lobby, the chairs, the coffee tables, things like that in their lobby. Was it Wells Fargo had a bunch of small office tables, right? Like just small conference tables that sat 4 with chairs. And I'm sure that they were just like little round tables in their offices for meetings. But those were perfect kitchen tables for our clients because they were 4 seated round tables that were just like perfect size. So you just don't know. I mean, a lot of offices even have old, microwaves and things like that, lamps. So we've had a lot of offices that are moving or downsizing or just getting new stuff. Same for universities. We'll often be like getting a whole new floor of stuff. So they'll send their dressers over. So you never kind of know what might be a good fit for home furniture.
Right.
This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of Intune. We're talking to Betsy Rezensek, who's the executive director of Home Sweet Home. And Betsy, I don't have any furniture. I've kind of given my money, but I do have time on my hands. How do I volunteer at Home Sweet Home?
We are so excited. We just brought on a volunteer coordinator through the St. Louis AmeriCorps Vista program. And so this person is going to be with us for 1 year and has already excelled our volunteer strategy. So every morning, Lisa will meet with all the volunteers for the day, run down, this is what's happening, this is what needs to be done, this is what's changed. So people can reach out to Lisa through the website or just email her at volunteer@homesweethomestl.org. But there's also a form online about volunteering, or they can just call. And it's great because there's several different options. And I also encourage intergenerational volunteering. So we always need regular volunteers, specifically in the morning, because typically that's when clients are shopping. But we will also welcome volunteer groups to come down and deliver furniture. So we have some Methodist churches that will get together on Saturdays, and it's little kids ages 4 up to 68 that will gather up, load up our trucks with furniture, and go deliver furniture. People can come down as corporate groups. So again, another way for corporate groups to get involved, or faith groups or school groups. We do dresser builds. So we have IKEA dressers for purchase that then people can put together, and then those go directly to the families. It's a great way. It's team building, so you can really learn how well you get along. You don't know until you try to build an IKEA dresser together.
Maybe a premarital kind of...
Yes, that would be great as part of that premarital counseling. Can you do this without arguing, or at least be respectful about it? So that's always a great way. Pillow drives are another really fun one. But when it comes to individual volunteering, there's a few very specific ways. So one is personal shopping. Again, the key is to be patient. I am not a good personal shopper. I am not patient. But for those that are, being able to walk the client through the shopping process, and Lisa will train everybody, and they work with other volunteers until they're ready to do it on their own. But just walking them through and helping them kind of think through, will this fit in your space? What kind of style do you have? Do you want, if it's just an individual, do you want 2 plates or do you want 6? Like, kind of walking them through all the things. A lot of the clients may never have had to get this much stuff at once, or if they have ever like gone and shopped for furniture, it's been a really long time. And so sometimes it's a matter of like, well, could you use a mixing bowl? No, I don't really cook. Well, do you ever make eggs? Right? Like,
Right.
oh, well, yeah, I do make eggs. And I sometimes will make pancakes, I guess, if I had a bowl, but they've not had a bowl in so long that they don't make the pancakes. But if they had the bowl, they would. So, it's just kind of like walking them, encouraging them to think through if they could use that. And if they can't, that's totally cool. Yeah, still, we always tell the clients when they start, take what you need. Just remember there's other people coming in after you. So if you don't need it, don't take it.
Right.
And they're very conscious about saying, you know what, I don't use that. Leave that for somebody else. Right. Wow. And so helping the client walk through that process. Then we move all the furniture over to the loading docks after the client's done. The other piece that volunteers can do if you're not maybe comfortable helping clients, or you're like me and don't have a lot of patience, we need to pack up all their stuff. So again, they're getting the couches, but they're also getting all the plates and pots and pans and lamps and stuff. So all that has to be packed back up into boxes. And so we need people that can help pack it all in and pack those boxes up so that our movers can then deliver that furniture. But then we also just need people that want to help unpack all the stuff that's coming in. Donations come in constantly. There's always, it's kind of like a musical chairs of furniture in the warehouse on a daily basis. So if you like being active, you like, always staying busy, you like kind of, if you've ever thought your dream job was working at the back end of a Goodwill store, like
you found your niche.
You found it. And there are some people that have found that this is like the best fit for them.
That's all right.
You find some very interesting things sometimes.
So you have wish lists.
We do.
That are linked actually to Amazon. So there's some things on Amazon that you can, and you can get there, folks, on the website. The Amazon wish list saves you time, directly sends the donation straight to the warehouse, and all of the essentials that are needed. Now, what about this Furnishing Hope Society?
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So our Furnishing Hope Society is a group of recurring donors. So donors who recognize the important mission that we have, the importance of community and being able to support the other organizations that we're working with. And they do that by contributing on a monthly basis. And so we're actually in 2020 going to be building this up. And our goal is to have like more than, I think, 300 recurring donors. And so it could be an amount as small as $5, and we have donors that give up to $100 a month and just set that up in their account so it comes through every month. And really, every single person in that is somebody who's met us or who has been in the warehouse, who's seen the impact directly. And that's super special to me as the executive director because they know the importance. It's not just somebody that thinks we're great, although, consider giving on a monthly basis and come down and see us, right? That we want to meet you and show you around so you can really see that impact.
That absolutely is a great statement. Go down and see what's going on there. So just for instance, if you give $10 a month, it provides gas for deliveries for 12 families' furnishings over the course of 1 year. Wow. $50 a month, I'm skipping some in between, provides beds to 12 children a year in the need of a safe place to get a good night's sleep. $100 a month covers the work week of moving staff to keep serving local families. So you can do a family's entire household to be fully furnished for a year. That's $23 a month. $35 a month covers 1 week cost for the warehouse space, making it possible to store these things. Some of the partners, we did mention some of those earlier. Center for Women in Transition, Delta Gamma for Children with Visual Impairments. I'm just reeling off some. Hope House, Interfaith Housing Services, Lydia's House, Nurses for Newborns, St. Patrick's Center, St. Louis Crisis Nursery, Women's Safe House. We did an interview with Sylvia Jackson, Veterans Administration, Hope Recovery Center, many, many others. And they will actually coordinate with you who the clients would be. The last thing I want to talk about, you have a big night coming up in April 4th, 2020. What's happening that night?
We have our trivia night, which is actually our largest fundraiser. It wasn't anticipated to be so, but we do fund really, really well at Home Sweet Home. So everything we do from the shopping to the daily activities of the warehouse to our trivia night turned out to be ton of fun. So it's going to be April 4th out at Task and Fenton and their gymnasium. And I think we're scheduled to have 60 plus tables. Wow. So every year we probably grow by about 20 tables. It's just, a good old St. Louis trivia night. Nothing super special except the mission is great. We have a lot of fun. We have a great host.
Soon you'll have to have it down at the Dome.
I have joked that, actually. I think the Chaffetz Center would be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Call it citywide, get a certain beer company, whatever.
They have this labeled as Pajama Party Pillow Fight Trivia Night.
So the theme is Pajama Party. And so we haven't exactly laid this out yet, but everyone is encouraged to wear their pajamas, preferably family friendly. Okay. But we'll have some kind of table decoration prize to give away. Every year there's a theme. And so we've thought, being that our mission is mattresses, giving people a safe place to sleep and call home, Pajama Party would be a good fitting theme for that. And actually our big push for additional fundraising that evening will be towards purchasing mattresses for the family. And so we're going to be working with Dow Furniture to kind of do a buy one, get one kind of program. They already have something like that. So if you actually go to Dow Furniture and purchase a better mattress, thank you, they will donate one. And so we're working on doing our special fund a need to help purchase even more mattresses for our families.
Cool. Wow. We've been talking to Betsy Rezensek, Executive Director of Home Sweet Home. Their website is homesweethomestl.org, homesweethomestl.org. And they're also on Facebook, so you can check those out. Betsy, any last words for us? We've got about 90 seconds.
No, the community has just been super supportive, and we are only just now getting started. So if you want to learn more, if you're a business or a school group, definitely reach out and find a way that we can work together.
Is the warehouse open 7 days a week?
Monday through Friday, 9 to 2.
Okay.
We are always there. And actually, starting in January, the last Saturday of the month, we will also be open for donations.
Okay.
We'll have it all on the website.
I can really see how groups, pooling their resources together would be a huge benefit, whether it's a church youth group or Boy Scout group, or you're looking for a project, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, all the kind of scouts in the world, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Also, church fellowship groups or civic groups, they have projects that they need to accomplish.
Yeah.
Even our son, he talked about that they do projects at his work and workplace. If you're looking for viable kinds of projects and things to do, homesweethomestl.org, that's the place to go and check it out with Betsy. Betsy, thanks for coming on In Tune today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you.